Hello, I'm Leah,
And I'm Teddy.
and these are our top 5 favourite unmatched characters.
Right, we got honourable mentions first for my first one. It's Robin Hood. I really like Robin Hood. I think he's underrated. I think he performs well. His ability's great. His outlaws get like 8 free damage. He basically is one of the only range characters I actually pick. I love him. He just unfortunately didn't make the list. Poor Robin Hood.
R.I.P. I guess.
He's dead. Oh,
He
dear.
didn't make the list, did he? So my first honourable mention is Bloody Mary. I mean, she's a bit naff to play against other people, but she is fun. You know, I think she's designed to be a very fun character. Her special ability of needing 3 cards to gain an action is a very fun way to play our match. And even though she doesn't do well against other people, her cards are fun. They've got a little bit of trickery in there.
She's got
I love
a few
it.
okay matchups.
Yeah, she does. She does.
Another honourable mention for me, Achilles.
Oh.
I quite like quite simple characters, and I think Achilles matches that quite well. He does exactly what you want him to do. He runs at people, he hits them quite hard, especially after Patroclus is dead. And he's just a little simple guy that just performs pretty well against most people.
Yeah.
18 health as
18
well.
health.
A lot of his cards actually have a lot of movement, so he's actually not as bad getting across the board. I love him.
Here we go. This is Alice. Again, she's just another fun one, but she does a lot of damage. So I think she doesn't really do much when she's in small, because there's not really an incentive for her to be in small. But when she's in big, watch out, because she's got a couple of cards where you can discard your thing.
Maximum foe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and her boost values are like 4.
She's
got a
attacking
couple
for
of 4.
9 with a few
Yeah.
in big. Yeah, it's quite good.
She's great.
My number 5, getting onto the actual list here, is Beowulf. Like I was speaking about with Achilles, I like people who just do what you want them to do. I think Beowulf does exactly what you need him to do. He doesn't do anything that special, but you actually end up getting you get the rage quite a lot. You only need to take 1 damage and you get a rage, so that comes back quite a lot. And he does have 17 health and he's got a lot of block, so it's not actually as big of a deal that he has to take damage to gain his rage.
Yeah.
But I actually think he's surprisingly versatile. Against people with low health, he has an unblockable 8 damage with his the Ancient Heirloom. And against kind of the better people like Sun Wukong, Bigfoot, She-Hulk, the people with really big attacks, he has his equal of Grendel and he can do the damage back.
Yeah.
So he's actually got surprisingly good matchups. He's simple, but he just does the job. Wiglaf is a good sidekick. And I think he's just fun to play. He's consistent.
Yeah.
I like that consistent simplicity.
It's a bit muddy as well. Anyway, here's Sun Wukong, my number 5. He's annoying to play against, but very fun to play. The fact that you can just sit there, send your clones off, and you can still do really high damage. I mean, the cards...
All his cards are any cards.
Yeah.
So yeah.
They're all any cards, and it's brilliant. I wouldn't have it any other way, because taking the damage to summon a clone could be seen as holding you back, but not for Sun Wukong. These things make him stronger once he's got
Wow. Ricky,
once
really
he's
Ricky.
got all his clothes. He's really unstoppable.
He's got his Phoenix form.
And he's
he
got
can
his Phoenix
heal.
form. He can bring a card back, his Ox form, Phoenix form. He can choose.
72 transformation.
Yeah, and just the trickster cards, I like them as well.
Yeah.
Because you never know whether to defend, do you?
Yeah, he's tough, and then if you don't defend against him, bam, it's a 7 attack coming
Yeah.
right at you. Yeah.
He's a toughie.
My number 4, not the best character in a match, but in my opinion, one of the most fun to play. It's Invisible Man. He's on the weaker end. There's a few things he does okay. He's got quite a lot of auto damage.
Yeah.
I think it's 10. I think he has 10 auto damage in his deck if everything goes swimmingly.
Yeah.
He's got his 2 vanishes to disappear from the board. He's got a little bit too much draw to really win with fatigue, unfortunately. But he's just so interesting to play. And I love Vanish. I love just disappearing from the board when someone has 7 cards in their hand and they just have to discard
It's
2.
so upsetting.
Zipping around the place. Really high block, so he just lasts a long time. You end up running out of damage with him most of the time. He can't
Yeah.
really close out matches. But I think for being one of the most fun to play, like even when I'm losing, I'm never really having a bad time on Invisible Man. That's what makes him my number 4. Well deserved.
So my number 4, Little Red. Again, I think she's just got a really unique playthrough. I like the ones with a little bit of fun in them. So, because she has to match up the symbols in her discard pile, which is her basket, it makes her card effects really unique. And she has the one that cancels the value and ignores effects. That's brilliant. The Huntsman's a really good sidekick here because he's ranged. And he can hit you for a 6.
Yeah.
He can hit you for a 6. It's pretty good.
9 health as well.
9 health. He's hard to get rid of. But yeah, she's just ultimately very fun. She is like heavily dependent on the order she draws her cards, which is why she's at number 4, not higher up. And she has some terrible matchups. But ultimately, I think it's a very fun way to play, and it's very thematic. Very thematic. Matching up the little symbols in a little basket. Brilliant.
My number 3, it's Oda Nobunaga. In a similar vein of Invisible Man here, he's not great, especially in 1v1. In 2v1 I think he does better, in Tales to Amaze he does better.
Yeah.
But he's just so interesting to play. He's so thematic. I love the focusing so much on your positioning. You feel like a tactician as you're playing him. And he does have a few little surprising cards where he's hitting people for 6s or he's hitting people for 5s that kind of just sneak through. His honor guards are actually quite difficult to kill if he can be swapping them around and moving them about. But unfortunately, I think what lets him down a little bit is obviously that he's weak, but also it's pretty obvious how to play against him. And every time you play against Nobunaga, you just go, I'm going to kill your honor guards, and you win. And the moment he loses one honor guard, his chances of winning go to the ground. But he's so fun, so he's my number 3.
My number 3 is Dr. Julius Trentius. Again, she's got very shocked eyes, but she's got gadgets, which I think is really cool. I think the Hypno-Ray Blaster is a very fun concept. The fact that you want to be playing a lower value than your opponent is very fun because it leaves your opponent being like, oh, should I play a higher one? Should I play a lower one? Because then if you hit them with a higher one...
You've got 5s in a deck.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and then the fact that you see their top card as well, bit of a hint to what they're playing next, potentially.
Well, especially good with that 2 she has, where if her boost fight is higher...
And then she does 3 damage, doesn't she? As well as the extra damage she would do from her effect anyway. But yeah, she's just really fun. She's quite consistent. She has obviously some bad matchups, like everybody. But she's just quite a fun character to play, I think. Her gadgets are quite cool. Daisy's alright.
My number 2. Daredevil. First Marvel on the list. I think the only Marvel character on the list as well. And I will preface this with saying Daredevil is awful to play against.
Oh, I hate it.
He's awful. And you really have to play like a little rat. But he just wins. And I think he's so fun where it's similar to Little Red in a way. You're kind of playing your own little puzzle game. Where I am running away, keeping an eye on the top 4 decks cards in my discard pile for my Devil of Hell's Kitchen. I love the fact that you can go infinite. That's such an interesting concept that he can just last forever. You can put a timer on, he will beat it. I think it's so interesting. He's a little bit predictable against people with feints, and the fact that he does have to move in to get his Devil of Hell's Kitchen, you can play around. But I think he's really good, really fun play style. A big fatigue character. I like him.
Here's Medusa. She's my number 2. Obviously, she's one of the best unmatched characters. I mean, some would argue she's overpowered. Many would argue that.
I hate playing against her.
Yeah, she's another one. You don't like playing against her unless you're me and you play Yenenga. You know, that's when you might have a chance. But I just think it's very cool. Like, you want to keep people out of your zone. Which is good because you can deal 1 damage. She's got fun cards like the Stone Gaze. I think that's a really cool concept that, you know, it's low damage, but if you win, bang, you're taking 8 damage,
it's huge.
Which is kind of crazy because if you wait till your opponent's got nothing in her hand.
Well, and you're discarding their cards as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
She's got a high discard rate. She's good. She's great. Again, very thematic. Love me a thematic girly. She's brilliant. Yeah.
And my number one is Bigfoot. I think, you could have seen this coming. It is simple, does what you want him to do. He hits hard. And I think, Daredevil's fun, Little Red's fun, all these people are fun. I don't need me a gimmick. I just need me someone who's got a good amount of health, a good amount of movement, and can whack you.
Yeah.
And Bigfoot has that in absolute spades. I think he's consistent. People, there's lots of interesting matchups. Not many people can deal with just getting hit by a 6. Yeah. That's something that's pretty consistent across the board. No one enjoys that.
No.
Jackalope, I used to not like him. I used to think he was really bad. His schemes are great. He's got 6 free damage that you can just do, which is insane. He's got a lot of being able to move through people, so Bigfoot can't be trapped. I think his special ability is sometimes a hindrance, because you will reach fatigue quicker.
Yeah.
But it is nice to be able to run away, pull 2 cards in a turn, get ready to go back in. I love me a Bigfoot. He's my number one. My
number one is, of course, Yananga. I just think she's brilliant. She's got her 2 archers that can take damage for her, which really comes in handy when you're going against the big hitters, such as Bigfoot. And her cards are great. Her archers, there's ways of getting them back.
You also have that heal 1.
Exactly.
Which you just flip them all back.
You just flip them. They all heal 1. And it's brilliant because it leaves your opponent not actually doing any damage to you. For the first half of the game at least.
She's so difficult to kill. And pretty much every Yananga game ends in running out of cards. Yeah. Because you can't kill her.
You can't. Because, maybe you kill one of her archers, but brilliant. She's on full health, they're back, and you're nearly dead. So, but yeah, she's my favourite, bless her.
There we are.
There we are, that's it. Well, thanks for watching. Any last words?
Catch you in the next one.
Catch you later.